When it comes to consistency, when you're using your pink or your clear powders, the most important thing is understanding how to keep it off of the cuticle area. What I want to be able to do, whether I'm using a core or speed powder, is I have to be able to determine how much liquid to use in order to get the right feel. We don't want it to run. So it has everything to do with what it looks like when you pick it up, not how much liquid you use to the amount of powder you use. It's all based on touch and feel. Notice when I submerge my brush, right, I want to be able to tap. And what it's going to do is it's going to keep monomer really flooded on one side of the brush. I don't want to go side to side, right? And then the side that I actually tap on here, I don't want to pick it up with that side because all the monomer is actually on the opposing side of the brush. I want to tap. Again, I want to be able to create a crater. I want to pull down. If I need more, I continue to dig in one spot. Notice how the product all melts, right? This is going to give me the perfect opportunity when I actually set it down on her nail to release off the brush and stay in place until I actually come in and press it in to the according areas. If I submerge my brush and I pick up a pearl, I want to be able to set it down with some space, keep the tip of the brush flush, keep the tip of the brush, again, behind the acrylic as a barrier between the cuticle area and the acrylic. Now you'll notice how flush I'm able to build it around. If you pick up your pearl and it's too wet, tap it out, you'll notice it turns matte. That matte look is perfect when you press it down. You'll notice how the product releases, the excess monomer inside the brush releases into the pearl, and it creates the perfect consistency for you to work. I'm going to get a nice pearl, right? Generally about half the size of your nail bed, or a little bit less. Keep it close but not touching with just enough space. And notice the tip of the brush contours the shape of the nail, contours as I'm walking around. I don't immediately start pulling it. I want to get it into place. Once it gets to here, then I can start to feather the surface. The acrylic will start to mold into place, creating this shape. If I was to take the product and just set it down, right, while it's wet and pull, notice what ends up happening. I end up pulling it off the natural nail. You have to understand how to pick up the right size pearl in order to have success, obviously because you're working from a pinky to your thumb. Now, when I'm looking at a hand, I notice normally the pinky is a small size, the ring finger, middle finger, and index finger are normally about the same size, and your thumb is going to be the largest. So if I need to pick up a pearl for the largest finger, I'm going to use the speed powder as an example. I need more monomer. Now you'll notice on my brush, right, it's dripping. I'm going to lightly tap it, and it's quite full of nail liquid. If I set it on the surface and there's too much, there's a possibility that the product will fall back in. Now you'll notice, even by just holding it in place, I'm only able to pick up a small pearl. So what I want to be able to do, get it really wet, and I almost want to dig in one spot in order to get a much larger pearl. Even if there is a slight dry edge, it's not a problem because once you press it down onto the nail, it releases and melts. When I'm using the speed powders, it's the same thing. I want to be able to get a little bit more liquid, set it down, to pick up a nice even pearl, right? Notice my finger is balanced. That way I don't shake. That way when I press it down, it releases immediately.